Hello everyone, this is the video which tells you the solution of the 3 questions in the program Shine Your Maths, indicator 1. So let's look at the first question. If the equation x squared minus 4kx plus 4k plus 8 equals to 0 has equal root, so we can highlight here, has equal root, meaning that we know that b squared minus 4ac will be equals to 0. Alright? When you say that an quadratic equation having equal roots, meaning that is b squared minus 4ac, or we say discriminant, will be equals to 0. Find the possible values of k and solve the equation for k greater than 0. So when you get the values of k later on, you choose the positive value of k, you substitute in to your quadratic equation here, and then you solve for this equation. So I will copy down the equation first, and I will identify which is my a and b and the c. Alright, so a is the coefficient of the x squared, so it will be 1, and the b is the coefficient of the x, so that will be negative 4k, and the c is a constant, so I have a 4k plus 8. So this is the ABC, right? So as I said just now, if the question said this equation having the equal root, meaning that is b squared minus 4ac, or we say this is a discriminant of the quadratic equation, this should be equals to 0. So I'll substitute the ABC into the b squared minus 4ac equals to 0. After I substitute the b, a, and the c into this equation, I have this, and then I expand, simplify, and divide both sides by 16. I got this equation. And now to solve this equation, I will factorize. Here I have a k equals to 2 and k equals to negative 1. This is my equation. This is my solution for the k. And now find the possible values of k and solve the equation for the k greater than 0. So once you already got your k right, for the k greater than 0, meaning that you choose the k equals to 2. When the k equals to 2, you are substituting this k equals to 2 into your quadratic equation. So you will have this equation will be formed. Alright, and then now you simplified it. You have this equation. Now we can try to solve for the x. You have x equals to 4. So when the k equals to 2, okay, substitute into the quadratic equation, you have your root x equals to 4. So this question entitle you to get 5 marks, where here you will have a 1 mark for the 2 marks for the steps, and 1 mark for the answer. The answer is k equals to 2, k equals to negative 1. And then here you have a 1 mark for the steps. Alright, when you substitute the 2 into the quadratic equation, you have 1 mark, and then you solve it, you got x equals to 4, you get 1 mark for the answer. J stands for jawaban. Alright, so total you have a 5 marks for this question. For the question 2, the equation, this cubic equation, has a factor 2x plus 1, and the question asks us to factorize completely. So we have 2 methods. We either can use a long division, or we can use a comparing coefficient in order to get the quadratic factor. Okay, comparing coefficient. So here I'm going to use a long division for the question A. I'm using this cubic expression, meaning that I will just take the left hand side, and then right hand side is 0, right? So the left hand side will be our cubic expression. Taking this cubic expression divided by the factor that is given, that is 2x plus 1. To use a long division, we focus on the first term, on both sides, the divisor and also the expression here. Focus on the first term, asking yourself, 2x cubed divided by 2x, what do you get? You have a x squared, because x squared multiplied by 2x, you will get the 2x cubed. So you have a 2x cubed by taking the x squared multiplied by 2x, and then x squared multiplied by 1, you have a positive x squared. Okay, after that, minus, using this expression, minus what you have multiplied, you get a negative 14x squared plus 13x plus 10. Okay, so now again you focus on the leading term over here. Negative 14x squared divided by 2x, you have a negative 7x, yeah? Negative 7x multiplied by 2x, you get negative 14x squared. So this is a negative 14x squared, and negative 7x multiplied by 1, you have a negative 7x. Then minus again, you will have 13 minus the negative 7x, you have a 20x plus 10, yeah? Bring down the 10 over here. And then after that, 20x divided by 2x, you will have a 10. 10 multiplied by 2x, you get 20x. So you have a 10 multiplied by 1, that is 10. So no remainder over here, meaning that your quadratic factor will be this one. So it means your equation, your cubic equation, can be written as 2x plus 1 multiplied by is a quadratic factor, that is a x squared minus 7x plus 10. All right. So this is your cubic equation that already factorized into this form. But this is not yet factorized completely. Maybe we can see that this quadratic factor can be factorized further. So we try. We have a 5, 2, negative, negative. Yes, it can be factorized into x minus 5 multiplied by x minus 2. So we say this is a factorized completely. After that, the question asks us to solve. To solve, meaning that we have a 3 factor, right? Either 2x plus 1 equals to 0. Solve it. We have a x equals to negative 1 over 2. Or maybe x minus 5 equals to 0. Then you have a x equals to 5. Or maybe your x minus 2 equals to 0. You have your x equals to 2. So this is what you have solved. So this question, you have 6 marks. All right. So only the method that you obtain this quadratic factor, you get 2 marks. That is a K1 over here. And then after that, you have your factorized form in one factor linear, one factor quadratic factor, you get another K. And then what you have factorized completely, you get the J1. This is your answer. After that, you solve it. You try to solve, you get K. That is your method. And then you got your answer, x equals to 2, 5, and negative 1 over 2. All correct, you get J1. Total, you got 6 marks for this question. So actually, we have to rewrite this statement into the part B. This is actually your part B. All right. And then this is your part A, and this is your part B. You should write down the numbering nicely. For the third question, we have been given the fx and the gx, and then we have to we asked to find the hx, where the hx is a composite function of the fgx, and sketch the graph of the hx. After that, we need to find the domain and the range of the hx, and after that, find the inverse. Okay, this question asks us to find the inverse, meaning that the inverse, of course, sure exists. Okay, we don't have to check, so we need to find the inverse of the hx. All right, so let's look at the question A. To find the hx, that is the composite function of the fgx. So firstly, I will put a gx in the bracket and put down what is a gx. Your gx is a 3x plus 8. All right, so look back to the function fx. If this is the gx, then this x also has to be gx. So since the gx is a 3x plus 8, you need to substitute 3x plus 8 into x here. Okay, since this x already become the gx, so you have a square root of 3x plus 8 minus 3. All right, because the fx here, the x here already replaced by 3x plus 8. So the same thing over this x here also replaced by 3x plus 8. Put down the 3x plus 8 into it. You will simplify. Simplified it, you will have square root of 3x plus 5. This is your hx. All right. Once you get your hx, the question asks us to sketch the graph. Okay. Since this is a graph of the square root, okay, the third form, so I will start to sketch my graph in this form. This is my y equals to square root of x. Okay, the shape will be like this. But I know that the graph will actually shift it either to the left or to the right. Very simple. We just check its domain. Square root, we don't allow the negative number. So we know that 3x plus 5 will be always greater or equals to 0. meaning that our x always greater or equals to negative 5 over 3. Meaning that our point here, which is my square root of x, this is my reference point. This point at 0, 0 originally it is at the 0, 0. Now it's shifted to negative 5 over 3. And the shape will follow back the same shape like this. So you will erase off this basic graph. Then you have this graph as a y equals to hx. Okay, so there's one important point over here you need to find out, and the axis you need to label, okay, clearly. And this point, how do you get it? You just put the x equals to 0. When the x equals to 0, the y equals to sub 5. So this is a sub 5. You need to label everything. You will entitled to get 2 marks for the graph. So this one, the step you get the hx, finding composite function, you got k1, and then the answer you got j1. Okay, the graph, if you have the shape, a correct shape, you get r1, and next r1 is everything correct with all the labels and x and y all correct, you get another r1. And by looking at the graph, I can see my domain is okay. The graph actually the domain we already found it. The domain is, we already found it, that is x greater or equals to negative 5 over 3. So now I write it into the interval form. That will be starting from negative 5 over 3 until infinity. And the range, of course, you can get it from the graph. You can see that the lowest point of the graph is this one. And it is having the y value 0. So our range is starting from the 0. And then the graph is going up indefinitely. So, of course, it will end up by infinity. And part C, to get the inverse, I will say, okay, we always start from this statement, that is h inverse equals to x. So firstly, I will put the h inverse into the bracket. Only use this method. We don't use the other method. Only use this method, because other method we need to define something that is much more complicated. So I would like to recommend this method is the easiest one. H inverse equals to x. So you put the h inverse into your bracket. So what does it mean by h inverse? Meaning that this x is substitute with the h inverse. So now my h inverse, which is my left hand side, will become square root of 3 h inverse x plus 5. This is equals to x. Then I simplify. I try to make the h inverse as a subject. So firstly, okay, I square the x, and then minus 5, and then divided by 3. Alright, so this is my h inverse. So for the domain and the range, if you got it correctly, separately, you get a B1, meaning that you have to get exactly like this. You get a 1 mark like that. And then after that, this one, the steps, you use the correct steps, correct method to find the inverse, you got K1. Okay, and then you solve, you try to find the h inverse, you got another K1, and then answer all correct, you get a J1. Alright, so total is 9 marks, and 3 questions will entitle you to get 20 marks in total. Alright, thank you for watching.